I'm starting from this picture because I'm going to start saying things that are kind of contrary to the kind of person I am. I'm not gay. I'm LGBTQ plus. I'm in support of pretty much anybody. Particularly, I'm not like I am Christian, but I'm not like other Christians or majority of them that are like against gay people and all that shit. I'm not against people. I mean, my feeling is that everybody's got to be. Uh, well, I'll just do it on this side. I was waking up and I was talking in character, and it says, "Do you enjoy being butt fucked by AI?" I don't enjoy being butt fucked by AI. So if you want to get away from these AI faggots that are taking out all of your business, join me on. I was thinking whenever I woke up, when I was just like, man, you don't see things like that on YouTube when you're going across the channels. All you see these guys like, hey, you want to use AI to make the most money? Um, well, you can make millions of dollars with my special thing using AI, and the reason why is because AI is empowering. So they think, oh, it's empowering. It permits people to leap buildings in single bounds. Maybe all I need to do is convince people that I can do that for them, and then they'll come and pay large amounts of dollars. I don't have to have any proof that I'm able to do this. There are a lot of people on the internet, and the reason why they're putting up all these ads right now is because we're in a recession, we're in depression, we got the worst of it. There are people desperate to make money, and these guys are just going to pander to whatever it is that people want to do. I mean, you're not going to make like tons of money at this point in time unless you're doing exactly what these guys are doing, which is trying to convince other people that they've made millions of dollars and sucker them into making money using AI. The thing about that is, however, that's kind of interesting, is that nobody really knows how to corner making stuff with AI. It takes a lot of creativity to have the AI do the kinds of things that you can take advantage of, you know and I think the best thing to do with if you're trying to use AI to make a lot of money, the best thing to do is to get AI working for you on your own servers, on your own systems. Use a open source LLM or something and have the AI on your own servers, because then you can use that AI to do the kinds of shit that the AI from Google and whatnot won't do for you. Um, and so you can have it surf the web, and you can have it like anytime it finds a certain bit of information on the web, it can go and tally it down, and then at the end of the day, you can check to see all the web pages it found that may be something interesting for you, or you can have it fill in forms or do whatever, on the internet. And that's the sort of things that people probably aren't doing. You know, you can still make use of all the stuff that's on like Google and whatnot. The difference is that you're doing something on your home system that you can completely customize, and you can do it unmoderated and unfettered. Um, that's the advantage of free software. The open source, the GPL stuff, is that you can make it do anything you want to do. And the problem with AI right now on the websites is that they don't permit you that. is because the business people, or the big business like Google or whatever, are in the process of trying to make it suitable for the mass public in such a way that they're not liable, but they don't know what kinds of things the AI can do for people that might put them in legal jeopardy. And that's the reason why if you put it on your home system, you could run into that kind of jeopardy, but nobody would know it because nobody would have access to it. Only you would. And so you're not going to be fettered by the same sort of problems that a commercial entity that's offering the same service to everybody is going to be. Is there? You're not going to get moderated out from doing the kinds of things you want to do, and that's the reason why it's important to get up and running and trying to get something that's working on a home system. Now, I'm not trying to make millions of dollars. I'm kind of a socialist, and I make my money off of a trust that pays me about $3K per month. And so I'm the least interesting to psychopaths, because psychopaths will, and people say, how do you jump to psychopaths? Well, because they are not, they're more driven to go after the people that have lots of money. So those guys that are claiming they have lots of money, they have psychopaths on their tail. They're trying to befriend them and trying to free them up from their money, and they probably don't have a whole lot of money. But the thing is the psychopaths. If you got a friend that's a psychopath that's out to find there's likely you won't, but if you can find somebody that is one, some of them are going out trying to find ways to make lots of money, and you can find out who they're going after, and that will give you some idea of who the rich people are and how they got to be rich, because the psychopaths are going to be going after them. Psychopaths never get educated in anything really. They get certified, but they get certified by criminal means. And the reason why is because they're the only thing that keeps them from doing things is the stuff that's going to get them found out and get them in jail. So they're going to try to figure the most legal way to do something that's criminal. And it's because they don't identify with anyone else, which means you're essentially a racist to the entire human race. And they don't. This is just, I mean, you just have to think about it. If you had no ability to feel emotion for anybody, you don't identify with them. That means that if they get in trouble, you don't feel like, wow, I need to help this person. They don't have empathy. It's kind of like, oh, look at that idiot right there. He's in so much trouble. What a fucktard, That's the way they feel. And there's other people that feel the way, but they just naturally feel that way. And one of my theories is that the reason why psychopaths torture animals when they're young is because animals are more animated whenever you torture them. And so they can do that because they don't feel for the animal. They don't have that part of their brain that works that way. So they don't identify with the animals being like them, or having feelings and having stuff like that. So whenever they torture an animal, it's more like, wow, look at that thing. If I do this, it makes that kind of motion. Hey, I'll do that again. They'll keep doing that. And they don't understand that that's not something you should do, We naturally understand that because we have empathy. We understand that you're not supposed to torture animals. In fact, we feel bad whenever you start to feel for the animal, but a psychopath doesn't have that in their system. They don't understand um, they don't understand what they're doing emotionally. They're not bound or associated with everything in the same way that you are. Whenever somebody gets their arm say somebody gets their leg cut off or something right in front of them, they don't they don't go, ooh, awful, and then feel all remorse and everything. It's like, oh, well, that's kind of funny what happened there. That's that's because they don't see that person as being like them. They don't see that person as being a version of them. And so, you know, extreme racism is where you feel like your race are human and everybody else is an animal. Okay. And so whenever somebody gets hurt or something, who's not of your race, you're just kind of like, well, that was a good thing that happened to that person, to that race. That's the way they feel, and the reason why is because they don't see them as being anything like them. That was the reason why people felt like black people were more like animals than human, like them, or at the same level of education or anything like that. They didn't identify with them, and that's the reason why it was so easy for them to treat people like that, was that they didn't identify with them. And now I think what the problem is that they try to keep ignorant of the other race. I mean, the whites and the people that are racist against black people, or, in any direction. There's racism everywhere and in every direction. What keeps people from taking down those walls is the ignorance, trying to remain ignorant about other people. And I get this kind of as a Christian. There's kind of a religious racism. If you say you're a Christian, then people naturally assume that you're like Catholic and like you're out to get people and you're like trying to convert people and stuff like that. No, I'm not like that. But the thing is that really bugs me is that I can't share an idea about that stuff or the philosophy without somebody jumping on me about why they believe it's complete bullshit. And what I point out to them is that if you're so eager to prove what other people believe in is bullshit, they are not going to believe anything you have to say from that point on, because you just completely denounced all of what they believe in. So it wouldn't even matter if you thought it was logical or not. You completely ruined them as an individual because they believe in something, and when you said that was bullshit, you basically said to them, you're bullshit. You see? And that's the reason why you can't reason that way with people like that. You have to reason with them without reasoning with them. You have to befriend them, and then over time, if they get to like you, you tell them what your philosophy is, and then they can either take it or leave it. But that's the only way you're ever going to get them to switch, and it's the same way from the other end. But if you come up, you're going to be coming up to people all your life using that method of saying what you believe in is bullshit, and you can't possibly be a logical thinking human and all that stuff. That is going to keep you from getting the kinds of relationships that will make your life valuable, because you don't value human beings. You've already set yourself up as being a racist in a different format. You're a humanist racist. You claim to be for humans, but you're not for humans. You're for humans that are thinking the sort of things you do, and you can't fathom anybody else thinking not like the way you do. And that's the reason why you never win these arguments or whatever that you think you'll win with Christians, and you'll think they're just completely crazy, and it makes you feel so much better to jump on them than to actually see that they're just like you, but they have a different way of thinking about stuff. And you're not eager to find out why it is that they think this way. You're more eager to try to fix them. It's the same way with people coming against people who are autistic. They figure they can fix them. If you think you can fix them, you're not going to fix them. What's going to happen is that they're going to turn on you. Their friends are going to turn on you, and they're going to see you as part of the problem. You see? And the thing is there is no cure for autism. It's the way which a person's brain develops. It's not worse, it's different. The way I like to think of it is if you're a computer type and you understand something called complex instruction set CPUs, there's also ones called RISCs. They're reduced instruction sets. It doesn't mean that they're anything less. It means that it's the way that the processors are made up. Normal processors have all the operations they do inside the CPU and a little bit of register memory. A RISC processor has a small set of operations that are hardwired. That means they run faster. They don't require they don't require going around into the memory running little sub operations, what are called microcode. They don't require running all that microcode to get something done. And the modern CPUs have a combination of these two. But it used to be that the CPUs were either CISC or they were RISC, and the CISC was using microcoded operations to get these larger operations done. So like when we did a divide, it would do a series of operations to do the division. So it would do it in 8 cycles. But in RISC, it's done in 1 cycle. And so what you do is you take your most used operations and the operations that are basically like the microcode in another CPU, and you turn them into these simple set of operations. And you can use those instead of breaking your stuff down in microcode. You yourself can figure out how to make better operations. And if you can put those in a RISC processor and arrange them, then you can work more efficiently than the CISC processor. So if you can think of a autistic person as being like a RISC processor, they've got a simple way of dealing with things that is not as advantaged as the CISC processor. It doesn't have all the operations. It doesn't have all the talents and the skills and everything to deal with things. But how it deals with things is different from that, and it can work some things more optimally. It's going to favor the it's going to do those things faster, and you won't understand this because this is the reason why companies pursue people with autism or a high form of autism called Asperger's, is because they have my lips are getting really dry. They have the ability to do things faster than other individuals, and usually with more precision. You understand how they tend to be specialists and they like one particular subject that nobody likes. That's because they're comfortable with that and other people aren't. I see them as extreme, they're like astronauts into extreme specialism. And so companies look for these guys because they're not going to get bored of working with algorithms and trying to optimize things in particular verticals. And that's why they go after them, and they don't go after other people. They go after the people that have this kind of autism. I mean, this is serious. You ask anybody who does research, they'll say, we've got some people that have autism that do research. And what I often get, because I can talk about all sorts of subjects, is I've got autism because I talk on and on about things that people claim nobody really cares about, and that's because all they care about are what they think other people are concerned about. They're more driven socially to be friendly with other people, try to develop relationships with other people. They're not interested in breaking out of that and getting into something that's kind of a specialty. And they're not eager to learn about people who have specialties in things. They're eager to to get with people and go and party and stuff like that. And so they consider us to be kind of antisocial because we're not going to be talking about football games or beer or women or things like that tend to be kind of common to everybody. They don't tend to, they want to talk about politics or, they might, and they won't talk about religion. And so they got this certain idea of these are the things people want to talk about. And if you're outside of that, then you're a complete weirdo. And so that's the reason why I started out my whole discussion on this one thing about AI and stuff, because that's the general population. They're afraid of the things they don't understand. So they essentially get to be kind of racist of anybody who is outside the circle of their reasoning. And so just let you know.